I'm going to show you some tricks today on how to make the perfect Southern biscuits. So, that's what we're making, a very classic today, Southern biscuits. I'm going to grab some buttermilk and some butter out of my fridge. We want this as cold as possible. I'm going to give you some tips as we go. First, let's get our dry ingredients together. I have flour in here along with 1 tablespoon of baking powder and a ½ teaspoon of baking soda. And a lot of times people think they're interchangeable. They are not. They are not interchangeable. I want you to think about this. Baking soda, baking powder. Powder puffs, soda spreads. So there's a lot more baking powder in here because we want some tall biscuits. So that's why there's way more of that than the baking soda. Baking soda spreads, so it helps lighten it up a little bit. And then I got some salt in here as well, of course. Now, once that's all whisked up, what I want to do is get my butter in here first. There are several ways to do butter. First of all, unsalted butter, of course. And with butter, you can chop it into small pieces. But for me, one of the tricks I've learned back in the day was using a cheese grater. Because what this is gonna do is it's gonna create these tiny, tiny shreds. By the way, hold on, I'm gonna show you my nails. Levi, did you get that shot? There we go. I do my nails like once a year. So I'm making sure they get on camera. Okay, so I'm gonna shred this in here. You can of course chop it into tiny pieces, which we'll probably do at the very end, but this makes it way easier to work faster in the flour, because you wanna work fast. You want this butter and buttermilk to be as cold as possible, because when the heat hits, I'm gonna get it out of here once. It's a little messy, but it's worth it, trust me. When it hits the 450 degree oven, we have an oven at 450 degrees. When it hits the 450, that steam is going to be created in the butter and rise up those biscuits. So that is the goal. So get your butter in there. And now if you see there's a little bit extra, let me grab a spatula here, just to kind of get any extra off. And then I'm also gonna just kind of get the extra off of here. And now you can do this a couple different ways. We can do this where you take a pastry cutter and you go in. You can do 2 different knives, kind of like how Grandma might have shown you. But for me, I get my fingers involved. I use my fingertips and just, oops, losing butter, and just kind of use your fingertips to really get in there. And I'm moving fast. I'm moving fast. I want this butter to stay as cold as possible. So I'm just kind of looking for pea-sized bits. Now, let me give my fingers a quick wash here, because now that that's nice and cold, I'm gonna keep it cold. And what we wanna do now is get the buttermilk in here. So I've got cold buttermilk. And oops, I took it out already. And what I love about the buttermilk is, yes, you can use milk that you put a little bit of lemon in or vinegar, but to me, a rich buttermilk is just the way to go. Just get a little thing of buttermilk. And I'm gonna pour that in, and we're gonna work fast. Now, what I love about biscuits as well, you can make these the night before and just keep them in your fridge. And then all you have to do is pop them in the oven, because you're gonna get that dough nice and cold again. So I've done that many times where I've had to make huge amounts of biscuits, and I just make them the night before. Now you're gonna have this shaggy dough here. And actually, Sarah, do you mind grabbing me a glove? Would you mind? I have one of our new boxes right underneath there, just because I'm gonna get my hands really dirty and I wanna get a glove on. There we go. I'll do a quick cleanup. I got 450 degrees, like I said, on the oven. And then I got a little, thank you so much. Let me get a glove on just to make less mess for you to have to watch me wash my hands over and over. All right, so now we got our buttermilk in. This is a nice shaggy dough. And I'm gonna drop down a little flour. Now this shaggy dough, sometimes I'll look at this and go, this could use a little more moisture, and it all depends on the day, right, and the season. So sometimes in the summertime, wintertime, it affects your flour a little differently. So I'm looking at this going, this could be a little bit dry. I'm just gonna add a smidge more in. Just like a teaspoon. That's it. Just kind of eyeball it. Use common sense. If it looks like it's too dry, just add a little more in. All right, now I've got this lovely surface here, nice clean surface. We're gonna move it to the surface. Some of the dry bits on the bottom, I'm gonna leave those. We don't wanna try and work them in. We want a nice fluffy biscuit. Now I'm gonna show you one of my tricks. So what I'm gonna do first, do a nice easy pat on these. All right, now what I like to do, I'm gonna grab a knife. This is the trick. You can so easily cut them right now, no problem. You wanna cut these into biscuits, do it. But here's what I like to do. I cut it in half. I place this on top. This is where you're gonna get all those layers, and now let's do it again. Kind of bring them together. You know what? Let's do it again. Let's keep getting layers. Cut them in half, place on top. Look at this. Now you're getting all those layers right here. Just like that. And you know what? Just for fun, we're gonna do it one more time. Now we have 100 layers going on, and that's what I want. I want that height. Now go ahead and do a little smash and roll. Now I can see like some fun chunks of butter on here. Make sure it's not sticking here anywhere. Same thing. And for me, biscuits need to be rustic. I am not looking for a perfectly round, gorgeous biscuit. I am looking for something that looks homey, rustic, thick, scraggly. So I'm gonna start there. I'm gonna go ahead and push down. Do not twist. Look me in the face, trust this face. When you twist, you're sealing it off and you're not gonna let it rise properly. Do not twist, lift straight up. See that? I'm gonna go ahead and get that on a little sheet tray here. Let's do another one. Do not twist, just lift straight up. Same here, straight up, straight here. Now, depending on the size of your biscuit, you can make a bunch of minis if you want. For me, I usually get like 6 to 8 out of this because I like a decent size. But see how I'm just smashing it again? Now these are where the biscuits are gonna start getting a little ugly, but this is when they taste the best because they got all that chunks of butter in there. So once you have them on your baking sheet, and like I said, you can do it up to this point and then throw them in your fridge. I'm gonna do one more ugly one here. The last one's always the ugliest one. Get in there. Woo. Once they're on, you're gonna take a little buttermilk, and then you're just gonna throw them in your oven. You're gonna brush them with a little buttermilk. Now don't do this part. If you make them the day before, do this right before you bake them off. And we're gonna throw these in my oven. We're gonna cook them till they're high, golden. Of course, you can find this recipe on our Facebook page and on our website, but I have some ready to go that I wanna show you. Sarah and I were little biscuit making machines today, this morning. Look at how beautiful these are. Can you get these? Look at the layers in these biscuits. Can you see that? Those are stunning, and they came together so incredibly fast. So I wanted just to make sure you got a chance to see this big ol' basket of biscuits that we're gonna be tucking into probably with a little honey later.